county executive did a good job balancing the resources we have available with his funding priorities. However, the County Council also has priorities of its own.
Items in the budget that are important to me, of course, are our education system, whether it's Montgomery County Public Schools or Montgomery College. We came together to really talk about education and, most importantly, education funding and why it was important for all of us. Making sure that we take our children from K through J and making sure that they're supported from kindergarten to jobs is one of our #1 priorities here in this county.
I think the parents just want to know what is the likelihood of these positions being cut.
We've heard from a number of our constituents about how important this is to our overall economic development success and is certainly a priority for this council.
Making sure that Montgomery College receives the resources that they need to address their high enrollment that continues to be the case. And even though their enrollment has decreased a little bit, they still have really record numbers of students coming in. I think that's really critical.
We're probably looking at not being able to provide enough funds to avoid increases in class size. And that continues to be a major area of concern for me. When class sizes become overly large, it just becomes more difficult to teach and more difficult to learn.
Also childcare, early childhood education is really, really critical. We are putting forth a very ambitious initiative, and I think that we need to stay focused on all of those issues.
Residents across the county, down county, up county, east county.
Well, I chair our transportation committee, and part of my goal is to focus on the things that really matter to people day in and day out in their lives, like resurfacing our roads. This winter has proved to be very difficult for our roads, and so we want to get more money for road resurfacing.
I'm happy to introduce this today. I want to thank all my colleagues.
Transportation is a very hot issue in Montgomery County. My top priorities have been, #1, to make sure that we send a loud and clear signal to Governor Hogan that the Purple Line is our sole #1 transportation priority. Second, ride-on bus service is a huge issue on the east side of the county that I represent. Ride-on ridership is over half women, 3/4 African American and Hispanic, and more than 3/4 households under $50,000 in income. We're protecting them against budget cuts that they've unfairly suffered in the past is a top priority for me and my district as well.
Bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure. I have a part of the capital budget that I am working to expand that helps remake a lot of our urban areas in the county and have them as more hospitable for walkers and bikers.
I also serve on the HHS committee, which really deals with our safety net services, and I am pushing an innovative anti-poverty program, as well as making sure that we really do everything we can for our seniors and our developmentally disabled population that really needs our hearts and our dollars to make sure that the people they love are taken care of.
Montgomery County is working with President Obama to end homelessness among our veteran population. In the last one-day count of our homeless population, 24 veterans were recorded as homeless. The federal government has been very helpful, but we will need to add some county funds if we are going to meet President Obama's commitment to end veterans' homelessness in 2015.
Through our Health and Human Services budget, whether it's caring for the homeless, giving people workforce assistance or rental assistance or child care subsidies, all of those items are extremely important to us as we continue to make sure that people reach the ability and level of self-sustainability.
My top priorities for this budget: limitations on property tax increases. You know, I'd like to look at the numbers, so bear with me, but I am very sensitive to the cost of living in Montgomery County. Our residents are not getting richer. Can I help you? You wouldn't need a box to put things in? A lot of them are moving on to a fixed income situation, and in order to keep those folks here, we have to make sure that we protect their tax burden, both through the property tax level and also the energy tax. Now, we're really trying hard to improve our economic development opportunities, to bring new businesses here, to encourage the ones who are here to expand. If we don't reduce some of the tax burden that they're looking at right now, they're not going to come here. They're not going to stay here. That means fewer jobs and ultimately, of course, less revenue.
Certainly need to make certain that our fire and police are properly staffed and that they have the proper funding for training and all of those very necessary items that are so very important to all of us.
After the tragic events in Ferguson and Baltimore and elsewhere, we're having a real national conversation about police accountability. So it's been a top priority of mine to make sure that since there's a lot of interest in body cameras on police, that we can give assurance long-term to every Montgomery County resident that while we have a great police force here in Montgomery County, that their encounters with the police will be recorded and will be archived.
We're going to have a briefing by the police department on police body cameras now. The police are going to begin implementation of a body camera program in May or June, and hopefully within a year it'll be fully implemented throughout the department. They were actually the initiators of this.
And tell you that this council remains committed to our libraries. I also want to talk about our libraries, because our libraries are extremely important to our community as well. Many times, unfortunately, folks don't have the access to many of the materials that many people take for granted that they have within their homes. And so building our libraries back up is always going to be a priority for us.
The public campaign finance bill that was passed, we need to fund that program as well, and that was important for me.
Montgomery County made a landmark decision to take special interest money out of our elections for county executive and county council.
The budget that we got, unfortunately, did not fund our small donor incentive program, so I am working very hard to get a down payment going on that fund.
Candidates are dependent on small contributions and that they're comfortable opening up their checkbook.
We have to set aside funds so that the public election campaign fund is up and running in time for the next election.